Bonsoir à tous, merci d'être là. Ce programme s'appelle Leading Innovation in a Digital World. Et donc, comme son nom l'indique, il y a deux piliers essentiels dans ce programme de MBA. Le premier, c'est l'innovation, et le deuxième, c'est le digital, et en particulier la transformation digitale. On retrouve toutes les thématiques qu'on a habituellement dans un MBA, marketing, finance, RH, orga, etc., etc., avec le twist suivant, à savoir que tout est vu de la perspective de quelqu'un qui travaille ou qui souhaite mettre en place une organisation innovante. C'est un programme donc, qui dure 18 mois, c'est une semaine de cours toutes les 5 semaines. C'est un programme qui est structuré autour de 3 voyages internationaux, 3 Learning Expeditions. Si vous souhaitez plus d'informations, je suis à votre disposition, de même que les personnes qui vous ont accueilli à l'entrée sur le programme. On pourra en discuter à l'issue de la conférence ou de cette masterclass exceptionnelle. Now I will switch to English to introduce Stefan Lindegaard. Stefan Lindegaard is, I was going to say, a world-known author, speaker, strategic advisor. Stefan travels a lot all around the world and he advises large companies. And what I really like is that we have known each other for a few years, and a few years ago we were both speaking and writing a lot about open innovation, and now in a completely independent manner we are more focusing on disruption and transformation. We were just discussing about that before. So it's like we realized that open innovation was just the premise of something which is much bigger, which is going to change organization and companies. Please welcome Stefan.
Thank you very much, Aga. So we're just going to start right out and just move very fast. If you fall asleep, it's okay. As organizations transform themselves, many executives will lose their jobs. That's the idea that's going to drive our discussion today. But let me start by a question. If you look at top executives as senior VP or above, how many top executives do we have in this room tonight? We actually got 2 guys, okay? 3? Very good. From big companies, I imagine. 4 maybe? What kind of companies are you from? Mid-size. Mid-size companies? Mid-size, large, very large? So we're actually very large. Okay, that's very good. But we got 4 people showing their hands. 2.
I think there are more than that, but they're a little bit shy.
Well, it's okay to be shy. It's okay to be shy. But let's say that out of the 4 here, the bad news is that 2, maybe 3 of you will have lost your job within 5 years. The problem is that most traditional executives, 50-year plus, male, white, they can't deliver anymore. So they're going to look at younger people, more diverse people, digital natives in some ways, all the way down to 30 years old or something like that. They're going to tap these people in the coming years for high senior positions. Not because the board of directors want to, because they have to. The problem with these young guys is they really understand what's going on. They understand the things that Albert talked about. They get it. But being 30, 35, they do not have enough leadership to actually get to that position. But it will happen because you will not have any other choice. So when I talk about this one, how many in here would actually be aspiring executives, being the 25 to 40-year-old guys right now, or girls? Some, actually, yeah, we've got some aspiring executives. Your time is coming right now. And it's going to get better and better for you guys. Some other things we're going to talk about is that you work in teams, and the teams that you are in right now is innovation teams primarily. A few of you have gotten to the level where you also go in and talk about transformation, transforming the company. But the companies that really get open innovation, they are having a huge advantage for the coming years where we need to make this massive transformation because of disruption. And the reason is that what you need to do open innovation, more transparency, more openness, lack of control, more ecosystem, elements like that, that's what you need in the future as well. So the companies that already do well on open innovation, they're better prepared for the future. How many of you will say that you have CEOs and top executives on that level in your teams, supporting your teams? No one? One? Very few. And that is the problem that I see over and over again, and it's something I in particular realized the last 2 years, and I'm sorry to say this, but most of you guys, I'm not going to say be cruel and say that what you're doing is useless, but it's pretty close. The thing is, you don't have any impact because you need the executives. You really need the top down to make things happen. Does any of your companies have a chief innovation officer? A few of you? Any of you actually been a chief innovation officer in this room? Okay. Are you the first one in you're a mid-sized company, right? Are you the first one in the company? Okay. You know the average lifespan of a chief innovation officer is it's a bit old. The data I have was less than 2 years. And what I've seen over and over again is the first chief innovation officer, he didn't really make any difference. He kind of pushed it, and then 1.5, 2 years later, you were pushed out. Companies should not hire a chief innovation officer. The point I'm trying to make is that if you have a chief innovation officer, and it's not really a top executive, like the top 5, 7 guys on board in the company, it doesn't matter. Because it's only the executives having the power to change things. And you need to find a way to get impact. You're doing, I really think you guys are doing a great job. You keep pushing. But if I had a one-on-one, you guys, half of you would almost cry out of frustration on getting things done at your jobs. It's kind of sad it's like that and has to change. I'm going to talk about 4 things that executives and their teams must address. And the first one is actually no barriers but root causes. Can I ask for a volunteer, please? Someone's working with innovation in a mid-sized or large organization, in a team there, and willing to share what your barriers towards innovation is within your company. We're going to help Cyril here identifying the barriers towards innovation within the company. What I'm starting to see is that it's not really about barriers, it's more about root causes. I might be a bit bold here, but what I often see is when I go out there and work with companies, I very much do that as a coach. I listen and then I observe, and then I see things I've seen over and over and over again. The same things. It's the same 4, 5, 6 things, any company, any industry, about innovation management. Okay? And that's something we can use, because if you can start seeing the patterns, then you can kind of say that, if you do this, with these resources in a certain situation in a given context, you can more or less expect this outcome. So when we look at root causes, I'm going to put them up here. And you see the last one, it's very small, but some root causes that we can look into. A big one, and that's one of my worst problems right now when I'm especially working with executives. You don't have any time. So that is a root cause you need to look into. And also this one, and in some ways it ties back into existing process and micromanagement and maybe even corporate government. We do the right things. Can it be wrong to do the right things? It definitely can if you do all the right things based on the past and not what you need for the future. When you go in depth, spend some time, some days on finding the barriers, then you start seeing, we got the barriers, we can group them in different ways. But you need to think the right question. What are the root causes for these barriers? So actually, be leaders, not managers, is the next things I want to talk about. So we got some issues here. And if they don't listen to people like myself that much, if they don't go in and listen to you guys and the team, the younger people, reverse mentorship would be a great idea here. Who will they listen to? It's up there, their peers. They will listen to other executives. Anyone in here working in HR? 2 people, kind of. You know, there's a holy triangle we need to make this work. Top executives that's really getting it and being personally committed. We need corporate transformation, corporate innovation teams, really up to speed, fast and agile, and we need HR. But it's not really there. Working as HR people, you need to find your job to educate the executives. How about leadership? What will it look like in the future? The funny thing about open innovation, and I see this as a prerequisite for actually going towards the future, is that you need to give up control. Give up control. Experiment much more. You believe in the changes that we're seeing. You believe that things are going to be different. I could hear that from you. That's where we need to start. We need to believe. We need to make our teams believe. I'm going to get to my end note now, and it's about being competitively unpredictable. You know your competitors today, and you are pretty certain that you're going to have new competitors in the future. But the thing is, those competitors are unknown today, and they might be unknown until the day they're smack in your face. You never saw it coming, and they're here. A big problem. And the thing is that how can you create an organization that can deal with that kind of competition? And when you can do that, and that's where you go back to old cliches like adaptive, agile, transformative, very fast. When you create that, that's maybe where you don't even, not only stand a chance against those kind of companies, but you can beat them. You become competitively unpredictable. And one thing I really like about it is what we talked about a little bit before. You need a vision. You need some kind of direction. And you need to create a belief within your employees. So any questions, comments, reflections?
How the impact of startups will be on the overall economy, on business, but also big companies as well.
The startups, whether they want to admit it or not everyone can be like Facebook and grow like crazy. They need to work together in an ecosystem, and most often work together with large organizations. And large companies need the startups for the mindset, for the people, for the new technologies, new approaches. So there's a good synergy there already.
When it comes to corporate transformation, what is the role of HR, and is there a role in HR for HR?
The role of HR is to become much more strategic. I mean, if you look at organizations today, you need to change organizational structures. I think this is a great way to get an understanding what's happening in the world right now, and then being able to take that understanding and next go and actually have a program, Leadership in a Digital World, that can help you even better understand it and give you the tools, the mindset that you need for that. It's a very good opportunity. And if you go to an event like this, just make sure that you have a reason for coming. It can be the speaker, the content, but it could also just be for the networking. But only go to events like this if you have a reason for it. And then just enjoy it and go out there and keep learning. So you come to get new insights. You usually go to events like this for the content for two reasons: to learn new things, or to get a confirmation of things you either thought about or already is doing. So two areas there. And then the other 50% is to go in there and actually network, meet new people, get new inspiration. And if you're looking for just insights in general, that's one reason. If you're looking for a new job, know who's coming and go in there and actually connect with these people. So just know why you're coming. That's the suggestion I would give. So
globally, I saw a message really relevant, really clear, and really synthetic. That so in this form can be useful to be then used every day in my activity. I think come because you will discover in a really clear way some key words and key ideas to use every day to innovate, to make more than to innovate, because I learned tonight that you don't have to use this word anymore, to make the people work together in a better way.
Actually, it was really nice because the speaker tried to emulate the public and ask us to come on the stage, and he keep pushing for us, reacting, asking questions, and making comments on what he was saying. So it was really interactive. You have a different mindset here from inside the company, so you just arrive and have a fresh new view on innovation. So I think it's good to attend it.